There is a book that was once treated as sacred scripture by early Jews and Christians. The New Testament quotes it by name. 11 copies were found among the Dead Sea Scrolls. The Ethiopian Orthodox Church still includes it in their Bible today, but at some point, the rest of the world decided this book would not be included in the canon. It's called the Book of Enoch, and it describes a version of angels, fallen beings, and the origin of evil so different from anything in mainstream scripture that scholars have been debating its exclusion for centuries. This is what the book actually says, and this is why they left it out. In the book of Genesis, Enoch appears in a genealogy. He is the 7th generation from Adam, the son of Jared, the father of Methuselah, the great-grandfather of Noah. His entry in Genesis is only a few verses long, but one line stands out from every other patriarch in the list. Genesis 5:24. And Enoch walked with God, and he was not, for God took him. Every other patriarch in Genesis 5 follows the same formula. He lived, he fathered children, he died. Enoch is the only one who doesn't die. He walked with God and was taken. The text doesn't say where, it doesn't say why, it doesn't explain what walked with God means. That silence created a question that ancient Jewish writers spent centuries trying to answer. Where did Enoch go? What did he see? And what did God show him? The Book of Enoch is the answer they wrote. It is not a single text. It's a collection of 5 sections, composed over roughly 2 centuries, from about 300 to 100 BCE. It was originally written in Aramaic and Hebrew. The full text survives today only in Ge'ez, the ancient liturgical language of Ethiopia. No serious scholar believes the biblical Enoch wrote it. It is pseudepigraphal, written under an ancient name to give it authority, a common practice in Second Temple Judaism. The question is not who wrote it. The question is what it contains and why that content was considered too dangerous to keep. And in 2025, an AI dating tool literally named Enoch pushed some of these texts decades further back in time than anyone expected. More on that shortly. The first section of the Book of Enoch is called the Book of the Watchers. It opens with a problem that Genesis only hints at. Genesis 6:1-4 says that the sons of God saw that the daughters of men were beautiful, and they took wives for themselves. Their offspring were called the Nephilim, the mighty men of old, men of renown. 4 verses, no explanation. The Book of Enoch tells the full story. 200 angels called Watchers descend to earth on Mount Hermon. Their leader is Semyaza. They swear a mutual oath, binding themselves together in the decision to take human wives and father children with them. Their children are giants, enormous, violent, and insatiable. They devour the earth's resources and begin consuming human beings. The text is direct about this. The giants sinned against birds, beasts, reptiles, and fish, and devoured one another's flesh, and drank the blood. But the Watchers didn't just produce monstrous offspring. They taught humanity forbidden knowledge. Azazel taught metalworking weapons of war and cosmetics. Semyaza taught enchantments and root cutting. Others taught astrology, the signs of the earth, the signs of the sun and moon. Each Watcher contributed a specific category of knowledge that humans were not meant to have. The parallels in other texts we've absorbed are striking. The Book of Jubilees tells the same story. The Watchers descend, take wives, and produce giants. But Jubilees adds a detail Enoch doesn't. God allows 1/10 of the fallen spirits to remain on earth under a figure called Prince Mastema, who negotiates directly with God. The Book of Jasher records a different version, describing a corruption of species, with humans mixing animals of one species with the other, provoking God further. These aren't isolated texts telling the same story by coincidence. They represent an entire theological tradition in Second Temple Judaism, a tradition that tried to answer the question, where did evil come from? And the answer they arrived at was not human sin alone. It was cosmic rebellion. Angels fell. Knowledge was given too early, and the world was corrupted beyond repair. 4 archangels, Michael, Uriel, Raphael, and Gabriel, see the devastation and cry out to God. God responds. He sends Raphael to bind Azazel in darkness beneath the desert. He sends Michael to bind Semyaza and the other watchers, and he tells Noah to prepare for a flood that will cleanse the earth. The flood, in this tradition, is not primarily about human wickedness. It is about a cosmic crime, the violation of the boundary between heaven and earth. After the watchers fall, Enoch is called to deliver their sentence. He ascends to the throne of God, and what he describes is one of the most vivid passages in all of ancient Jewish literature. Enoch passes through walls of crystal and hailstones. He enters a second house, greater than the first, built entirely of tongues of fire. The floor is fire, the ceiling is fire. Lightning and the paths of stars surround him, and at the center is a throne. Its appearance was like crystal, and its wheels were like the shining sun, and the voice of the cherubim, and from beneath the throne came rivers of flaming fire. God sits on the throne, and Enoch describes him only as the great glory, no face, no body, just radiance so overwhelming that no angel can enter or look upon it. A critical point here. The famous imagery many people associate with the Book of Enoch, the wheels within wheels, the beings with multiple faces and eyes covering their bodies, that comes primarily from the Book of Ezekiel, chapters 1 and 10, not from Enoch. The two visions share a family resemblance, and they emerge from the same tradition of Jewish throne mysticism, but they are distinct texts describing distinct visions. Enoch's throne is crystal and fire. Ezekiel's is sapphire with living creatures beneath it. Both are extraordinary. They shouldn't be conflated. The second major section of the Book of Enoch, the Parables, introduces a figure even more striking than the Watchers. Enoch sees a being he calls the Son of Man, a pre-existent figure who sits on a throne of glory, judges the kings and mighty of the earth, and will reign at the end of days. This figure is described as having been chosen before the creation of the world, hidden with God, and revealed only at the appointed time. The phrase Son of Man is the same title Jesus most frequently used for himself in the Gospels. Whether Jesus was drawing on this Enochic tradition, or the Gospel writers were, or the parallels are coincidental, that question is one of the most intensely debated in biblical scholarship. What is not debated is that the language existed in Jewish apocalyptic literature before the Gospels were written. And here's the detail that makes the parables unique among all ancient Jewish texts. No copy of the parables has ever been found at Qumran. Every other section of 1st Enoch was found among the Dead Sea Scrolls. The parables, the section with the pre-existent Son of Man, was not. Scholars have debated this absence for decades. Some argue it was composed later, after the Qumran community dispersed. Others suggest it represented a different branch of Enochic thought, outside the Qumran tradition. Either way, the parables sit at the exact intersection of Jewish messianic expectation and early Christian theology, and that intersection made a lot of people uncomfortable. The third section of 1st Enoch is not about angels or judgment. It is about astronomy. Enoch is guided by the angel Uriel through the movements of the sun, moon, and stars. He describes a 364-day solar calendar divided into 4 seasons of 91 days each, a calendar that differs from both the standard Jewish lunar calendar and the Egyptian solar calendar. This calendar appears again in the Book of Jubilees, one of our absorbed texts, which insists that the 364-day calendar is the correct one, ordained by God. The Dead Sea Scrolls community at Qumran used this same calendar. It was a defining feature of their identity, because using a different calendar than the Jerusalem temple meant they celebrated the festivals on different days. The calendar wasn't just astronomy, it was a declaration of separation. The astronomical book is the oldest section of 1st Enoch. Fragments at Qumran have been dated to the early 2nd century BCE, placing the original composition in the 3rd century BCE or earlier. The Qumran fragments contain more astronomical detail than the surviving Ethiopic version, suggesting the original text was even longer than what survived. Enoch wasn't just about fallen angels. It contained an entire cosmology, a map of the heavens, a theory of time, and a system for ordering human life in accordance with celestial cycles. So why isn't this book in most Bibles? The answer is more complicated than they removed it. They didn't. 1st Enoch was never universally accepted as scripture to begin with. The process of canonization was gradual, uneven, and spread across centuries. Some early church fathers embraced it. Tertullian, writing around 200 CE, considered it prophetic and argued the Jews had rejected it precisely because it contained prophecies about Christ. Clement of Alexandria quoted it favorably. The Epistle of Barnabas treated it as scripture, but others pushed back. By the 4th and 5th centuries, the tide had turned. Athanasius did not include it in his canonical list. Jerome dismissed it. Augustine considered its teachings on angels problematic. The Council of Laodicea around 363 CE excluded it from the books permitted to be read in churches. The reasons for exclusion were theological, not conspiratorial. The Book of Enoch taught that evil originated from a cosmic angelic rebellion, not from human free will. This clashed with emerging rabbinic theology, which emphasized human responsibility. It also clashed with the direction mainstream Christianity was taking, which located the origin of sin in Adam's choice, not in fallen angels corrupting the natural order. Its elaborate angelology named angels with specific roles, hierarchies, and powers also made authorities nervous. The more detailed the angel mythology became, the closer it drifted toward what looked like polytheism. For a tradition trying to establish clear monotheistic boundaries, the Book of Enoch was a liability, but it never fully disappeared. The Ethiopian Orthodox Church, one of the oldest Christian churches in the world, kept it in their 81-book biblical canon. Their Bible includes Enoch, alongside Genesis, Jubilees, and texts that most Western Christians have never read. For the Ethiopian tradition, the book was never controversial. It was simply scripture. The full text survived in Ge'ez for over a millennium, unknown to the Western world. In 1773, Scottish explorer James Bruce traveled to Ethiopia and brought back 3 Ge'ez manuscripts. R.H. Charles published the first major English translation in 1906. And then, in the mid-20th century, the Dead Sea Scrolls confirmed what Ethiopia had preserved. All along, the Book of Enoch was genuinely ancient, predating Christianity, and had been widely read in the very communities that gave rise to both Rabbinic Judaism and the early church. 11 Aramaic manuscripts from Qumran Cave 4, covering roughly 1/5 of the Ethiopic text, more copies than almost any other non-biblical book found at the site. The Qumran community didn't treat Enoch as a curiosity. They studied it, copied it, and built their theology around it. And there is one more piece to this story. According to John Strugnell, the former chief editor of the Dead Sea Scrolls editorial team, a complete Aramaic copy of the Book of Enoch exists found in Cave 11 in 1956 in the hands of private investors. Strugnell said he was shown a microfilm of it in 1990. It has never been published. Its existence has never been confirmed or denied. In June 2025, researchers at the University of Groningen in the Netherlands published a study in PLOS ONE that changed how we date the Dead Sea Scrolls. They built an artificial intelligence model trained on radiocarbon-dated scroll samples, teaching it to recognize microscopic ink trace patterns, character shape, curvature, features invisible to the human eye. They named the AI Enoch after the book. The results were striking. The AI could predict the age of undated manuscripts with an uncertainty of about 30 years more precise than radiocarbon dating itself for the period between 350 BCE. Some scrolls turned out to be 50 to 100 years older than previously believed. 2 biblical manuscripts, fragments of Daniel and Ecclesiastes, were pushed back to between 220 and 165 BCE, decades earlier than traditional estimates. The study also revealed something unexpected about the handwriting itself. The transition between Hasmonean and Herodian script styles, previously thought to be sequential, actually overlapped. Scripts attributed to the era of King Herod were already in use decades before Herod was born. The traditional framework for dating ancient Jewish manuscripts may need to be rewritten. An AI, named after the Bible's most mysterious patriarch, is now the most precise dating tool ever applied to the Dead Sea Scrolls. And it's telling us these texts, including the Enoch fragments themselves, are older than we thought. The Book of Enoch was written over 2,000 years ago. It was read, copied, debated, embraced, rejected, lost, preserved by one church at the edge of the Christian world, and then confirmed by scrolls hidden in desert caves. Now, an AI bearing its name is pushing the timeline even further back, closer to the era when the authors themselves were alive. The question was never whether Enoch is a real book. It was always whether the world was ready for what it contained. What do you think was the Book of Enoch excluded because its theology was genuinely incompatible with mainstream belief, or because its description of cosmic rebellion and forbidden knowledge was too dangerous to leave in the hands of ordinary readers? Tell me in the comments.